What is going on, guys? Miles here, and in this video we'll be taking a look at the stats of the M-38 SMG in Call of Duty World War II and trying to figure out whether it's worth creating using armory credits. Let's do this. Before we start, I'd just like to give a shout out to another YouTuber called KingXStudX who let me use his gameplay of the M-38 SMG, because currently I'm really close to getting it. I'm like a few thousand credits off, but instead of having to wait a few days to upload this video so I could get the M-38, he let me use some of his gameplay so I can get this video out as soon as possible. So shout out to him. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description of this video and in the comments below. So let's take a look at the stats of the M-38. Now, the weapon says on its description that it has the best aim down sights time out of all SMGs in the game, which sounds pretty useful because that's effectively like a built-in quick draw attachment, which means you can have like a long barrel or a rapid fire along with that, which could be pretty damn good on your weapon. But if we take a look at the stats, it says the aim down sights time is actually 160 milliseconds, which is actually equal to the PPSH, the Type 100 and the WWII, whereas all other SMGs in the game have an aim down sights time of 190 milliseconds. So it's about 15% faster to aim down sights with the M-38 compared to the other SMGs in the game, which doesn't really sound that useful. 30 milliseconds isn't a huge amount of time, but when the time to kill is only like a couple hundred milliseconds, then I do think it is actually a fairly significant upgrade. So the M-38 does have the best aim down sights time out of all the SMGs, however it's not really that unique since a bunch of the other SMGs have the exact same ADS time. However, the M-38 does have the best center speed out of all the weapons, and center speed is basically how long it takes for your weapon to return to normal after shooting it. So it's basically the effect of recoil on the weapon, and the M-38 is the best in that regard out of every SMG in the game. Because of the weapon's good center speed, I think burst firing is going to be really good on the M-38, which is going to make it a lot easier to get those mid to long range kills with the weapon if you just tap the trigger, because the recoil shouldn't be a big issue with the weapon, and with the weapon's pretty good range as well, I think it's going to be a lot easier to get kills at longer ranges compared to the other SMGs. The damage for the M-38 seems to be about average amongst the SMGs. It has a damage range anywhere between 32 and 19, which means it is possible to get a 3-bullet kill, but it will be very difficult as you will need to get a headshot with each bullet, which gives a 1.1 times multiplier, allowing you to do 35 damage per bullet. Most of the SMGs have a damage range between like 30 and 19, so I'd say this is like very slightly above average. The range of the weapon seems to be fairly good as well, as the damage begins to drop off at 500 units and the maximum drop off is at 1000 units. So if you're 1000 units away, you're going to deal 19 damage with the weapon, but if you're 500 or less units away, you're going to do 32 damage with the weapon, which is better than most SMGs in the game actually. The only one which is better in terms of like the beginning of the damage drop off is the Type 100, where the damage drop off begins at 600 units. The rate of fire of the M-38 isn't that great, to be honest. It's only 689, which is the same as the MP40, which is only higher than the Sten, the Grease Gun and the Type 100, so that's one area which the weapon does lack. So in conclusion, I would say the weapon is fairly good. It's probably a little bit better than the MP40. Its damage is slightly worse, but it does have the benefit of having a lower aim down sights time as well as a lower sprint out time, which I think will be more useful than the benefit of having a tiny bit of extra damage with the MP40. So I would recommend spending your armory credits if you guys do have enough in order to get the weapon yourselves. Let me know what you think of this weapon down in the comments below if you guys have it, and if you found the video useful, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more Call of Duty. Check out KingXStudX channel down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in another video.